Morning. It is Monday morning, March 13th, 2023, on this miserable, and I have to say miserable to me, Monday morning, rainy Monday. I hate rainy Monday mornings. I was like that when I was a kid. I hated going to school, even in grammar school, going to school on a rainy Monday morning. It was so depressing. This guy over here. But I love rainy Saturday and Sundays, because those are days like you can hang out on the couch, when it's cold out. I mean, you know, October, winter, whatever. But not when the weather's nice, though. I don't like rainy days when the weather is nice on a weekend. I just don't like rainy Mondays. Everybody's different. Anyway, when I get up in the morning, at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm not bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. It takes me a while to wake up. Like right now, I'm starting to fully wake up, so it takes me a little while. Todd Father didn't have a show this morning. I guess the time zone, or the time change, rather, probably screwed him up. So I'll wait until a few more. I know there's some people watching this that are not in the chat. Good morning, Tom. How are you? Like I said, I ran into Arms. Good morning. Like I said, I ran into Jack. He looks good. He's doing good. Wait a minute. Venomous silverback. Hey, well, listen. Is it venomous? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. I don't think you've ever been in my shows. Or maybe you haven't, I just don't remember because it's so rare for you to come in. Yes, it's been a while. It's been a while. It's good to see you. Thank you for dropping in. That was nice because you're thinking of me. Always good to see you. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. Hi, Nancy. Hi. Nancy. What does Tommy call you? Fancy Nancy? You like that recipe, all right? Yeah, I tried to make it. Coltrane, how are you, buddy? Good morning. Good to see everybody. I tried to make the video as, what's the word I'm looking for? As instructional as possible, Oh, detailed. That's the word I want to look for, detailed. Okay, so I got 7 people in the chat now. That's good right now, and whoever's watching. So I'm bouncing off of basically Tommy Stigger's show this morning because one of the listeners down neck brought up a very good comment. Well, not it was a very good comment. It was a comment in regards to the workplace and backstabbing. So I wanted to elaborate a little bit on that subject because of my work experience, which I have over 30 years of work experience, and what I've experienced as a manager and a supervisor through the years. No matter where you go, off of YouTube or on YouTube, let's take the workplace for example, okay? Now, I was in corporate, okay? Now, corporate is a little bit different than, working in a warehouse and working, it's different. It's different. But the backstabbing is basically the same. So I'm going to give you a couple tips and my experience of over 30 years of what one should do and what one should not do. And again, this is based on my experience. First of all, number 1 is never, ever talk about your boss with other coworkers. Never saying anything negative about your boss with other coworkers. If you're with other coworkers and you're in a conversation and they're bad-mouthing the boss, do not voice your opinion. Do not say anything. If they ask you or something is directed toward you for you to answer, do not answer. Just shrug your shoulders. Shrug your shoulders like that, and you're safe. Because they can never turn around and say that you said something about the boss. You don't want to talk negatively about your boss, regardless of whether you agree with them or not. And of course, not every boss, not every leader, not every supervisor is going to be great. But you never talk about your boss, because I can assure you, that it will get back to your supervisor, your manager, and what you said. Okay? So that's number one. Don't ever do that. Number two is never discuss your private life with other employees at work. No matter how close you think you may be with them, do not mix business with pleasure. Do not do it. No one needs to know how much money you're making. No one needs to know what your salary is. Everybody wants to know what everybody else is making. Everybody. Because they look at other coworkers and say, this one is doing this one is getting paid that, this one's not doing this. Do not discuss your private life with any of your coworkers, no matter how close you think you are to them. Keep your private life separate. It's nobody's business. A lot of things that happen is a lot of companies and a lot of people go out to happy hour. Happy hour is a big no-no. It's been a big no-no for a long time. Happy hour is a place when you go out with your coworkers where people start to have a couple of drinks, they start to loosen up and forget about what the things that they say. So that's another thing. Be very leery about happy hours and what you say and what you're drinking and who you're talking about. The other thing is, do not talk about other coworkers to other coworkers. Because I can assure you that it will get back. If you say something about another coworker and say that, hey, listen, Jess doesn't do this, Jess doesn't do that. She's getting away with murder. She don't do a friggin' thing. She's an asshole, you know. It will get back to that other coworker. The best thing you can do, shrug your shoulders. And this is what I tell my kids at work. Don't get involved in those conversations. Do not voice your opinion. Do not say anything. The safest thing to do is to, that's it. That's the motion that you make, and that will keep you safe, because nobody can turn around and say, Ralph or John, he said this, There will always be co-workers at work, no matter where you are, whether you're in corporate or not, and on everyday jobs, where employees will try to get away with as much as they can in terms of work, or pass the buck. There will be employees that will rat on you, without a doubt. Without a doubt. They'll rat on you and they'll throw you under the bus to save their ass and to save their job, especially in tight situations. So you really have to be careful. But like I said, there will always be co-workers, no matter what line of business that you're in, whether you're in corporate or not, where they will do as little as possible, and try to get away with as much as they can, So those are some of the tips that I wanted to give you through my workforce experience. And I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but these are things that are life-learned experiences that I've seen through the years, that if I could pass them on to you and pass some good advice on to you, now whether you do them or not is up to you. I mean, be leery of and be aware of your surroundings in the workforce. Do what you have to do. Do what you were hired to do. Don't worry about what anybody else is making, although it may bother you. But I will tell you that there will be times when employees do get called into the office and on the rug, and they do spill the beans about other employees. It's happened many times. So again, I'm going to emphasize, do not talk about your private life at work. I don't care how close you feel with a coworker. Oh, the other thing is, this is very important. Never, never, never having a relationship with another coworker. Doesn't work out. That's a big no-no. And believe me, people in the workforce love to gossip. It's a known fact. So you're giving them something to gossip about. Don't give them anything to gossip about. Just do your job. Do what you're supposed to be hired for. Be diligent. Come to work on time. Don't be late. Don't be a clock watcher. You know, if your hours are from 8 to 5, don't be keep looking at the clock and saying, and it depends again what kind of job you have. Being a clock watcher is not a good thing. Being tardy is not a good thing. Don't take advantage of the workplace. If your boss is not there and there's nobody there to watch you or to supervise you, other employees are watching you. Other employees are watching you. There will always be other employees watching you. I'm telling you. So don't think that, that you're going to be getting away with murder. And again, this comes from over 30 years of work experience. And sometimes I learned the hard way when I first started. And you learn as through the years go on. And when you become a manager and you become a supervisor or a leader, I always had an open door policy. Whenever an employee had whenever there was ever a disgruntled employee, or there was ever an employee that wanted to speak to me, my door was always open. I closed the door, we sat down, we talked about things, personal things, job-related things. And people have come to me in the past and said, you know what, Ralph, Mike ain't doing that. He's not doing nothing. He's not doing this. I'm doing all this, he ain't doing this. So then I'd have to call Mike into the office, of course, and, and I'd have to handle that situation delicately because I didn't want Mike to know that Frank came in the office and spoke to him. I just let Mike know that I was going to keep an eye on things and, that he should be doing the things that he should be doing. Because, like I said, one of the things that's people in the workforce, employees, are concerned about is what other people are making based on the jobs that they're doing. So that is my advice to you on backstabbing, because backstabbing, will always be, unfortunately, in the workplace. It will also be not in the workplace as well. It's kind of rough sometimes not to talk negatively. Now I'm going to talk about off of work. Amongst people negatively about another individual, if they're talking about another individual and they're being negative about it, you really don't want to get involved in those conversations. That's true. You know what? Let me just say hello to everybody real quick. Adam, good morning. Brian, good morning. Nice to see the two of you. I think Nancy, did I say hello, Nancy? Venomous on the head of the sledgehammer. And I'm sure I see where this is going. Joe Dell, good morning. I'm just quickly going down to Nancy. I said, good morning. Stig is here. Weingild is here. Just want to say good morning to everybody, because sometimes it's hard for me to read the chat. And I also want to read the comments real quick. But Venomous has a very super day, a very busy super day today. A very super busy day today. Yeah, Venomous, I didn't realize it was a couple of months. God, time is flying by so quickly. Nancy, thank you for the compliment on the meatball video. It's meatball and gravy / sauce. You, Tommy, and the crew are great guys. You all should have your own comedy special. Yeah, Venomous, that's funny you say that, because when us guys get together on anybody's show, like all 4 of us or 5 of us, we do have a good time. We do have a good time. And it just comes natural. It's just so funny. So I agree with you. It's good to get together once in a while. It's good to get together. Everybody get together once in a while on somebody's show. Up to my neck and work today, just listening. All right, Aunt. Well, okay. I know. Just days like that, and I hate that when it's a Monday. Backstabbing and contradiction are for shifty people. Exactly. I will say what I am thinking to your face. and very open-minded and opinionated and don't care what anyone thinks. You are hitting this right. Well, everybody's everybody handles a situation differently. Uh, there have been times where, in the very past, many years ago, where I have voiced my opinion to another coworker and said, things like, you don't do a fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing all the work and you're not doing a friggin' thing, and you're getting away with murder. That's where the resentment comes in. Of course, that employee that I said that to didn't like me anymore, but I didn't really give a shit. You know? It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to swallow when you know, here's another example, when you know that another employee is making more money than you and doing the same job that you're doing, is supposed to be helping you or doing the same job, and is not doing what they or he and she is supposed to be doing. So that's a tough pill to swallow, So I understand, where you're coming from. The Truth, how are you? Good morning. Yeah, it's very frustrating. But the tips that I've given you are all life-learned experiences from many years of being in the workforce. Now, I am not in corporate anymore. I have been out of corporate for the last, let me see, the last 5 years. So I'm now retired out of my career position, which was a production planner analyst. So now I do catering. So I am out of the corporate world. But what I have said does not just, again, and I'll mention, does not just apply to the corporate world. It applies to all aspects of life and all jobs. Because you have these types of issues on all jobs. Like I said, regardless of whether you're a warehouse worker or, whatever, a truck driver, whatever. It applies to everything. Payne, how are you? Good morning. You know what? That was my next thing that I was going to say, Payne. I didn't see your comment that you took the words right out of my mouth. You're exactly right. Never be boss. Never be pals with the boss. Does not work. There is a lot of repercussions there that I'm not going to go into, because that could be a whole nother show. But that's one thing I agree with you, Payne. And the boss should not be pals with anyone if he knows or she knows any better. He should not. He should know, or she should know better. You cannot be pals. If you're a boss, you cannot be pals with any of your coworkers, because then the coworker will be accused of brown-nosing his boss or her boss. And how many times have you heard the term brown-nosing at work? So if he or she is a good leader, supervisor, manager, whatever title you want to use, they will know enough not to become friends or pals with their coworkers. It just does not work out. There will be a lot of resentment there by the other employees, because it's showing, the other employees will think that the boss is showing favoritism toward that employee. So, and listen, again, your boss, your supervisor, your manager, your leader, whatever you want to call them, sometimes employees have a valid gripe against their leaders or bosses or managers or supervisors, because it doesn't mean because you're a boss or a manager or a supervisor or a leader that you're a good one. No, you cannot, remember guys, you cannot mix business with pleasure at work. It just doesn't work. And if you do, and if you're the type of individual that goes out to these happy hours at 5 o'clock, which I did many times, on a Friday, Hey, come on, the guys are everybody, all the workers are going out to happy hour. You start having a couple of drinks in you, and people start having a couple of drinks in them, and then the loose lips happen. The loose lips come out, and everything comes out about who likes who, who's doing this, who's doing that. It becomes the gossip center. So be very leery about that. I'm going to assume that happy hour still exists. That people do go out, for a couple of drinks on a Friday after a long work week. But you have to be careful. And I got 19 in the chat. So, like I said, hold on, guys. Well, wait a minute. All right, hold on a second. Nancy, there are rats at work, okay? Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. There are rats at work. There are rats that will rat on you about what's going on, what you're doing. And, well, it's not just in the workplace, but don't forget, you're at work for what, 8 hours a day? So a lot of times you're at work more than you are home. And you're with these people every single day. You got to see these people, and some of your coworkers you may not like, for whatever reasons, for some of the reasons that I mentioned, but you have to try to make the best of it. Sometimes it gets you down. I think one of the biggest problems that I've seen through the years is people making more money than another person, and that person that's making more money is not carrying the load that they should be, and there's a lot of resentment there, because look, John is making $60,000 a year. I'm making $40,000, and he's supposed to be helping me. He's supposed to be doing this, and I'm getting paid shit. And I've seen it all. Heard it all. So nothing surprises me. So that's why I wanted to elaborate a little bit on that, because I thought I had something to share with my workforce experience, which I'm sure that you will agree that everything that I've said is, on the up and up, and is, something that some of you may have experienced or are experiencing. So that's why I wanted to elaborate on. I didn't want to go on Tommy's show this morning as a guest and do that and interrupt his show, but Dindu came down, and Dindu came on and voiced a good opinion as to things that happened to him, and I figured that was enough. Dindu came on, and that was enough. I figured I'd elaborate on it, further afterwards. Now, the other thing is, the next instructional video that I'm going to do is on English muffin pizzas, which are very, very popular. And I'm going to tell you this. There is no right way. There is no wrong way to make English muffin pizzas. I'm going to show you the delicious way how to make them. The delicious way. So if you like pizza, you will love English muffin pizzas. And I can assure you guys and ladies that it is probably one of the most economical, filling dishes that you can make. Yes, the delicious way. When I say the delicious way, I mean by the spices that I add to it and the ingredients that I add to it. Now, you may not like that, okay? But listen, I've never had anybody ever complain about my English muffins. And I was making them even before I learned how to cook, because they are the easiest things to make. Okay? They are you don't really have to learn how to cook to make English muffin pizzas. It's basically a no-brainer. Yes, food again. I know, Lauren. Good morning. Because I have to laugh. I don't know. That just popped into my mind. That's not what this show was about. The beginning of this show was backstabbing. But I just want to tell you that it is. You don't need to know how to cook to make these things. You'll love them. You'll love them. You'll love them. Quick, easy, filling, cheap to make. So that's what my next instructional video will be on. is English muffin pizzas. Hey, listen, you can either watch it or you don't watch it. What can I tell you? You either do it or you don't do it. It's up to you. I'm not always talking about food. Only the last week we've been talking about food. It was just popped into my head just now. The first portion of the show was about backstabbing. So from that I went to English muffin pizzas. Oh my God, I'm losing my friggin' mind. I'm telling you. Oh God. I gotta drink my coffee, guys, because every time I do a car live, my coffee gets cold. You know? So, there's something else I wanted to bring up too that has nothing to do with food. And I don't remember what the hell it is. But, let me just make sure. Hello, good morning, Lauren. Good to see you. Good to see you this morning. I just want to make sure I say hello to everybody. Oh, you like my singing? Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Oh, I knew what I was going to tell. I got some good news. Believe it or not, I got a text message from the studio that I record with. They said to me, Ralph, we are now having open mic every Wednesday night. Now, what does open mic mean? That means that it's kind of like karaoke. So they're having karaoke actually in the studio. So now I can go there every one. They invited me there. So now I can do live singing, excuse me, every Wednesday night, which I didn't even know anything about. I just got the message yesterday. They said, Ralph, we want you to come, because I record with them. Now they have this big elaborate studio. Stage, and it's just like a nightclub. It's a huge stage, and then they have all tables and chairs, these high top tables with candles on the tables, with these high top chairs and tabletops, and you have to bring your own booze. It's like a nightclub. Their studio is so huge that their stage is huge also. That's where I recorded shot some of my videos, songs, that's what they're doing. It's going to be like a nightclub environment. So, yeah, I'm going to go every Wednesday. Why not? So, I was thinking about, doing some lives, of me singing. So I think that was very nice of them, and I thought it was a great idea for them to do that. This studio is so busy that they cancel on me constantly. Whenever I'm going to go in there to do a recording session, they cancel on me because they have these huge groups come in, and they're shooting videos, professional videos and everything, so they cancel a lot on me. So I'll be doing that. So that was, the little things that make me happy, right? So I'm really looking forward to that. So I was thinking about doing some lives. So I'm going to have to get some songs lined up because I'm going to go this Wednesday. I'm going to definitely go this Wednesday. I got to see how they do things and, and become acclimated with how they do things. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, or how they've been. I don't even know if they've been doing it. But I thought that was, I thought that was nice of them. So watch. But that, I don't know if I would incorporate that on the Wise Up show, though. That probably might still be on the music channel, my music channel. I don't know, Lauren. I don't know. I don't know if they're asking me to sing, or other people to sing that have done recordings there, and they have, what do you call it, a public, where the public comes in. In other words, it would be, for example, let's say a karaoke night where I would go and sing. Well, people come into the bar, so people are spending money in the bar. I don't know how they're doing that. That's a good question. I had no idea. They're not charging me because maybe they'll be charging the people that come in and watch this. But then again, you have to bring your own liquor. So that's a good question. I can't answer it though. You asked me a question that I have no answer to. You stumped me. Leave it to a woman to stump me. Yeah, well, Vinny's all the way in. Vinny's in New York, and I'm in Jersey. So maybe someday, who knows? You never know what the future holds. So yeah, that was some good news. Yeah, Nancy, I've been there. And it's um, the only thing I can say about Lee's Hawaiian Island is that when I went there, and this was a couple of years ago, it was very disorganized. Very disorganized, and you're only like allowed to sing like one song. Because there were so many people. I didn't care for it. I didn't like it. And I'm also very picky, believe it or not. I'm very picky about the sound system that the DJ has. And the DJs at that time at Lee's Hawaiian Island, they did not have, that may change. They didn't have a good sound system. Because if the DJ has a crummy sound system, you're going to sound like shit no matter how good you are. These are all little things that you pick up by doing this. Christopher Torr, are you here? Good morning, Chris. You asked a question, Anthony. What did you ask me? Let me go back to see. Oh, Anthony. Okay, you asked it. Okay, well, okay, Aunt. Sorry, Lauren. Oh my God. Well, I answered the question already, and I addressed Lauren as asking me the question. So I answered it. I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know. I'll find that out, though. Of course, I'm gonna ask. It's funny, man. I'm losing my mind here. You guys are making me crazy. I just want to make sure I said hello to everybody. Joey Melrose. Joey Melrose, I never heard of pizza pretzels. That sounds good. A Yeti. Wait, Envy has made a request. And hold on, guys. Oh gosh. And Lauren, let me see what your request is, hon. Okay, Lauren, you have to ask me again what you're requesting, hon. If you're still in the chat. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Every time I go So Lauren, ask me again. So getting back to what I originally talked about, I wanted to bounce off, and that's a good thing because sometimes we can bounce off of other content creators' show and some of the listeners' comments or ideas and elaborate further on it. And that's the reason why I chose the topic today of backstabbing, because I had something to share with my workforce experience, which I wanted to bring up. So that's a good thing. You can get ideas from the listeners and what they're talking about in their chats, and especially if you don't have any content to talk about, So it's really a good thing. I mean, it's all communicating. It's all communicating. You want me to sing something? Okay, you're not asking me to sing something now, are you? I will sing something, but I'm not going to be singing now. Not at 10 o'clock in the morning. You have to understand something. Let me explain something to you, Lauren. Okay. When and I'll explain this to the other guys, the other listeners too. When I go into the studio to record, first of all, that song is practiced for at least a month by me, till I get every note down, every lyric down, memorized, and how exactly I'm going to sing that song and how I'm going to do it. So when I go into the studio, I am in a totally different frame of mind. I am in a very, very serious frame of mind. Not joking around, not kidding, very serious. Because one of the reasons is that the studio charges by the hour. So, and I've mentioned this many times, so you want to go in there prepared. You want to go in there very prepared. You cannot, because not only do you have to be able to sing the song, but you have to work with the engineer after the song is done, because he will go in there and adjust all the voice tones and everything. There's no auto tone. I don't do auto toning at all. So there's nothing with my songs, there's nothing in my voice that's changed. When you hear me sing, that's me singing. There's nothing, I don't do that. So you have to be able to do at least 2 takes the most, because they charge by the hour. And you want to be as prepared as much as you can. So when I go into the studio, I know exactly how I'm going to sing that song and what notes I'm going to hit and how it's going to be done. Now keep this in mind. Now, every song that I sing, not everybody's going to like. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, some songs are better than the others, but that's the way I do it. So I don't sing at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm not in the frame of mind to sing. I'm not singing. No, I am not singing. I am not singing now, guys. I'm sorry, I'm not. You want to send me a Cash App? Send me a Cash App of $50. I'll sing anything you want. No, I'm still not singing. Now, people ask me, do you practice? Yes, of course I practice. Of course I practice a song. Of course. I do a lot of singing in the car, believe it or not. But like I said, not every song that I listen. There's songs that I sing that I don't even like. That I say to myself, what the hell did I sing that for? Or there's songs that I sing and say, oh, that song is better than the other one that I sang. So and I'm not a singer. I'll say this all the time. But we are more critical on ourselves than other people than we are. You guys are freaking nuts, man. Hi, this is Ralph. It is March 12th. You want me like that? Do a show like that? Are you nuts? You guys are crazy. All right, guys. That's about it. What time is it? Almost 10 o'clock? Is that the right? I don't even know if my clock is right in the car. I have 17 people in the chat. I think that's the most I've ever had in the morning show chat. I want to thank the people who have become listeners to my show the last couple of days. And I have to say, and I've said this yesterday, that for the last week, all of our shows have really been good. Not that they're bad. I'm not saying that our shows are bad. Don't get the wrong. Oh, the other thing I want to say is now I want to say something, because somebody brought this up this morning. Look, as a content creator, myself and everybody else, I will never bash another content creator. I've said that many times. I will never. I can't say that, so I won't say that. But I don't purposely go and talk about other people. That's not my style. I don't like drama. And look, as a content creator and as an individual or a person, some people are going to like you. Some people are not going to like you for whatever the reasons may be. It could be for many reasons. They may talk about you. They may make fun of you. They may do that stupid ass docking, whatever the hell it is. They may talk negatively about you. But you know what? I've learned now that the people that do that, it says something about them and their personality and their character. They're not really held in high regard, in my eyes anyway. So if somebody wants to talk about me in a negative way, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, and excuse my language, I don't give a fuck what you say. That's the bottom line. I could care fucking less. And I truly mean that. And I'm not just saying that. I truly mean that. People will do things for many reasons. For many reasons. And they will talk negatively about you for many reasons. But it's not saying very much for the individual that does that. What do they like off of YouTube? If you're doing that on YouTube, what do you like off of YouTube? I don't think your personality is going to change very much over YouTube. And let me tell you something about these keyboard warriors that you call them. What the computer does and the keyboard does, it gives you the ability to say and do things that you normally would not say if you're confronted face to face with this person. It gives you the ability to be bold and brazen and real tough, when in actuality and reality, you could be a real pussy. Okay? So you're actually hiding behind the computer. Because I highly doubt that a lot of these people that talk badly about other people are like that off of YouTube. The computer gives you a comfort zone, so to speak. It gives you a comfort zone to say what you want without any confrontation, without any actual face-to-face confrontation. Because I can tell you that a lot of people that are talking negatively about someone else, if they met that individual on the street, that individual may be the type of person to just knock them right on their ass. You know? And I know that I'm one of them, but I would have to be careful to make sure that there's no witnesses. So, remember this always. Always remember this. Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. Now, if the people are believing what that individual is saying in a negative way about another individual, then they got a problem, because they're taking it for face value without any facts, without finding out if it's true or not. Like, for example, Ralph's an asshole. He did this, and that. Well, did Ralph really do that? Oh, I don't like Ralph because he did this and that. How do you know? Well, I heard that. Well, you heard that, but how do you know? Do you know if it's true or not? It's gossip. It's a form of gossip. A lot of people sometimes will not like somebody because of things that they heard about that person. They're making a judgment on that person, because of what they're told. You understand? So you can't base what you hear on either liking a person or not liking a person by what somebody's telling you without having any kind of facts. And a lot of people do that. So remember, talk is cheap. It's cheap. And when you're behind a computer and you're on that keyboard and you're saying, oh, this one's an asshole, that one's an asshole, this one did that, this one did that, I kind of doubt you'd be saying that off of YouTube and in face to face. So my advice, and the advice that I'm going to use my own advice is, let it go in one ear and out the other. If you know that you're truly not like that, if you know that you're truly not like that person that they're speaking of you in a negative way, it really should not bother you, because deep down inside that you're not like that person, that you're a good person, or, you know what I'm saying? So you're showing some sense of insecurity by falling into that trap and letting it bother you. Have the have the kind of a fuck it attitude. You know what I'm saying? Hey, fuck you, fuck it attitude. Excuse my language. You know, and I know sometimes that it may not be easy for certain individuals to blow it off. But you have to, stop and think, what do you really like? What do you really like? Hi, Tammy, how are you? Good morning. I didn't even see you. Adam, exactly, is by responding. Hey, it is what it is. Remember, in life in general, that people will always have something to say. It's just a part of life, good or bad. Good or bad. Most of the time, gossip is not good. It's negative. And I did a whole show on that in the very, very beginning. Most of the time, gossip is not a good thing. It's generally negative because certain individuals they thrive on gossip. They like to thrive on bad news. You ever hear the expression, misery loves company? Misery loves company. No. So, as a content creator, if you want, or a host, I like my philosophy, and I said this many times, and I said it yesterday, and I said it the day before, is that I like to let my listeners walk away learning a little something from my show, and that doesn't happen all the time, and just to come in and have a good time, communicate, have a good time, and have some laughs. I don't need all the, I just don't. I know that drama sells. I know it does. But listen, that's just, you won't find any drama in my shows, because your ass will be right out the door. I'm not as tolerant as other people are. I don't have the patience for that nonsense. And again, sometimes, I sound, I'm not a tough guy. I'm not trying to come out, I'm not trying to express like I'm a hard ass or anything, but that's just me. That's just me. So I just want everybody to have a good time, enjoy themselves, have some fun, have a couple laughs, and that's it. That's basically it. Right? That's not asking for too much. Making gravy today, Tammy? Oh, okay. Did you watch my video on how to make meatballs and gravy, Tammy? It's very, very step by step. Watch it and, So, getting to Anthony, I don't know, and listen, I said this last night on the show. I enjoyed your show last night. I learned a couple things about tea. I thought it was a good idea. And, it's up to you whether you totally pursue it or not. You see the number of people that were in the chat. So there were people, I saw the post that you put up as far as the poll. I answered it, which is a good idea. Now it's up to you whether you want to do it or not. I found it to be a very interesting show, and like I said, I walked away learning something. And like I said, you won't walk away learning something all the time on my show. But or any show. But I learned a few things. I learned a few things about wine. So again, it's up to you. It's a good time zone. It's a good time slot, and I'll even push my show up to a little later time. If you want to, I don't want you to feel that you have to rush your show because I'm on at 7, and no one should. What I'm saying, I'll even move it up. So, that's the way I am. We'll work together. I don't care. Tea, wine, and beer this week. Yeah, watch it, Tammy. Watch it. It's very, just watch it, You don't have to do it. You don't have to do what I do. It's for whoever wants to do it. Yeah, okay, I understand that. You don't want to bore people. I understand where you're coming from. Those teacups on my widescreen TV last night were glowing. They were glowing and glittering, those teacups. I would keep them in a I don't know where you keep them, but I would keep them in if you have a china closet, I would keep them in a china closet. That's china closet material, those teacups. You're lucky that you have all the saucers to go underneath them. Usually, sometimes people don't have saucers. So, everybody, thank you for joining me this morning. It is, as you can see, it is raining here in northern New Jersey. It's such a miserable day. Such a miserable. I don't know if it's going to be raining all day, but I'd rather have it rain than snow. So make the best of the day and stay positive. Everybody have a good day. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys real soon. Patricia. The time zone, the time change has screwed everybody up. It really has. It'll take about a week to get used to. Now, if you noticed last night here in northern New Jersey, it got dark around 6:15 or 6:20 where it was totally dark. So that was a nice thing. And it gets dark. It gets each day 1 minute. It will get darker later, and in the morning it will get lighter earlier. So spring is in what, the 20th, the 21st, which will be here before you know it, right? I don't even know when Easter is. Is Easter in April? I'm not sure. Sometimes it falls in March. Sometimes it falls in April. But spring is a beautiful time. You start to see the flowers start to come up. The trees are starting to bud. You know, the only thing I don't like is the green pollen that comes on the car, because once you go to the car wash, you get your car washed, and before you know it, the green pollen is all on your car again. Then it's allergy seasons. Is it the 16th of April? Okay. Wait, is it the 16th of... Is it the 16th of March or the 16th? No, it can't be the 16th of March. It's got to be April. Okay, it's got to be April. So, you know, spring, before you know it, I mean, Jesus, before you know it, we'll be into the spring. I know, Adam, you were saying that. It's a nice thing to see the sun set at 7:30. Last year in the summer, I remember it getting dark by 10 to 9 at night. From the time that you turn the clock ahead this Saturday, to June 20th or the 21st, it will be dark by 9 o'clock. And then as you get into July and August, it starts to get darker earlier. So it's a nice thing. All right, guys, I bored you enough. So thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this car live. I touched on some interesting subjects. I gave you some life learned experiences and backstabbing in the workforce. Talked about being a content creator and what things that people go through, and even the listeners go through that too. I mean, you know, I don't find that very amusing. I don't find that very entertaining. I can tell you this, that people do thrive, even off of YouTube. When I'm in the bar environment, in the nightclub environment, which I haven't gone in a while, is that sometimes that takes place too. And let me tell you something. I've learned that being single now is a totally different thing from being in your 20s and 30s with people our age. It's just totally different. You would think people would be more mature our age, and they're really not. And that applies to both the women and men. You know, both sexes. I mean, I could talk about relationship things. You know, what do you know? You want somebody to be honest and upfront. That's very important. You don't want to put on any airs, and be yourself, and talk things out if you have disagreements, and show consideration for the other person. And I gotta say, for both sexes too, is that people, they've been through marriage, and the marriage didn't work out, and then they've been into a couple of relationships, and those relationships didn't work out for a lot of reasons. It could be for cheating. I mean, listen, the grass is not greener on the other side. But for something that you have good, people don't think. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. All right, guys. So now my Gerard, I have to give you a wrench. I wasn't able to do it this morning, but I will give you a wrench. I promise. So now I've dropped down from, I don't know, what was it, 17 down to 7. So it's time for me to end this. Hit the like button. And I'll see you guys soon. And thank you for joining. You guys have a great day today. Stay well.